Oh, yep.
Can you hear me?
I did do it, and it's working.
Yay. Good job.
I don't know how I did it, but I'm not going to.
Larry, I actually had a question for you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, sweet.
I can hear you over the upbeat rock jams.
What kind of post-process do you do on this podcast?
Hardly any.
Hardly any? What is it?
What do I do? I listen to the first couple coughs and snorts that we do, and then I erase them, and then I go to the end of the podcast. Hi, and welcome to Seattle's #1 comic book podcast. We'll revisit this, James, and this is Seattle's #1 comic book podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to the first issue of your next favorite comic. I'm Larry.
I'm James.
Oh, James, I can barely hear you. I'm going to crank you up here. Let's see here.
Ooh, there we go. That's better.
All this
Thanks,
fooling around with the dials, and something happened.
Larry's the master on the other end. All I need is one mic. Larry's got everything else taken care of.
Yeah, so I was just telling you, James, that yes, at post production, what I will do is I'll clip some of the coughs and snorts at the beginning, and the beep boop boop at the end, and that's about it. Oh, no.
You don't, do you put it through like an equalizer or?
No, I do. I use, Audacity, which is awesome. And
Audacity is awesome.
And I will, put some noise reducer and then noise reduce it.
Noise reduce it?
Yep.
That's the only thing you do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Send it straight up to up to the our web cloud. Our website called sn1cbp.com, and you can check it out on iTunes or Spreaker, SoundCloud. If you're a Facebook friend, you can see it there, or you can just listen to it at the website.
Just listen at the website. I do that probably the most. Of the few episodes I've listened. Actually, I've started to listen to more.
Oh, well,
it's a good show to go back and listen to old episodes. Like, it doesn't age poorly. It ages great.
Yeah, it's like a fine wine.
Like, someone could theoretically never have read a comic book, pick up or like get a Comixology subscription for what is it, $6, $5?
James, I'm the same way. People are like, I don't read comic books. I don't read comic books. I don't read comic books. Do you watch movies? Do you like television? Turn me on to something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just great recommendations. That's what this show's all about. Great recommendations.
But you could go, like, I'm imagining this person who's like, all right, I'm going to dive all in on comics. And they listen to every episode of our podcast.
What a great spread.
Read every comic that we recommend.
Uh-huh.
It probably would only cost them a Comixology subscription.
Probably, yeah. Month. Every once in a while, I'll dig out a DC, and I'm like, James, we got to read this. We got to read it.
But even since then, are like some of the Marvel stuff, some of the stuff we've done that had cost has become free.
And what a great segue, because I wanted to tell all our listeners about a comic that we read. We do not
work for Amazon, by the way.
About a comic that we read in one of our earlier shows called Paper Girls, and James and I spent the money, and we paid $1.99 at the time, but now it's free on Comixology, at least the first 5 issues.
That's Brian K. Vaughan, right?
Brian K. Vaughan's Paper Girls. It's a sci-fi...
Everybody.
Oh, and Saga, and last week's Recent and Decent Barrier.
Which I heard someone else mention, or I talked about Barrier, and how it's good.
It's good. It's good stuff. And Paper Girls is good, and you get the first 5 issues for free on Comixology.
I actually heard something more about Barrier, that it was designed to be read on like a tablet. Like, that's part of why you said instead of reading it horizontal like a normal book, you flip it, right?
Yeah, but I haven't found it online.
That you do that, like, combine that with a tablet, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Oh, I haven't found it online, but like the physical copies are really nice to look at.
Yeah. No, I'm on my way, Larry.
Yep.
But Paper Girls, I don't have to go anywhere.
Nope. It's at your fingertips on Comixology. what is it, $6-7 now for Comixology Unlimited? You should all be on Comixology Unlimited. But it's kind of like Old Homes Week this week when we're revisiting a Parker. Isn't this going to be fun?
Yes, we are. It was probably over 2 years ago we read our last Parker.
Yeah, so this is going to be fun. But before we dive into that, let's talk about some quick, recent, and decent. We got some scary rock heavy vibes going. So, but I don't know if that's the right vibe for this book. It's called Death and Glory, and it's like a crazy fun race book with truckers, and it's cliche on top of cliche, and our main character is a Tom.
What kind of car does the main character drive?
She drives a Camaro.
Camaro, nice.
So it's a super fun, set in the future. Rick Remender wrote it, and an artist named Bengal, single name, Bengal, 31 pages from Image Comics. It is super cool. It's a fast-paced race book about a, you guessed it, cliche on top of cliche, tomboy mechanic who is got to win, got to get into this death race, got to get into some sort of
haircut does she have?
Oh, she's got a saucy bob cut, and I have to say she's a tomboy mechanic, orphaned, raised by a ragtag bunch of truckers at the diner, and she's saving her uncle who needs a kidney transplant. It's super fun. It's called Death and Glory, and
Straight out of the 80s for you, Larry.
And her name is Glory. Issue 2 just dropped last week, and I'm telling you, it's good.
Fun?
It's fun stuff. The art kind of goes back and forth from like, I love it, she's great, to, oh my god, her eyes are too big and she looks like a giant cartoon. So your mileage may vary. So check that out. That's called Death and Glory, and it's on Image.
Sweet.
But this week we are going to, like I said, it's Old Homes Week. It's like coming back to a comfortable chair, but now this comfortable chair has an ottoman. I don't know what that means.
So it is Richard Stark's Parker.
Give us a setup.
Darwyn Cooke. Called The Score. It's got such a long name.
I know.
I always get it confused. Who is the author and who is the character and who is
and who are the artist and the writer? Yeah, artist and writer is easy. Darwyn Cooke. Darwyn Cooke.
Yeah, we got ourselves a singer-songwriter here.
Now we've met Parker before, right, James?
Yes, we have. So we read another graphic novel, I guess you call it, right?
Yeah, he's done 4 of these.
Yeah, and 3 of them are free on Comixology.
That's right.
I don't know which one is not, but I think it's the 4th
I recommend them all.
But we read Hunter, so Richard Stark's Parker, Hunter, and I'm looking back at my last score, actually, Larry, and I ranked it number 22 on that year's list of 50.
Uh-huh.
So not that outstanding, but I do remember it being a contender for Artist of the Year. Oh,
for sure. And we actually in that year we also read The Spirit, which wasn't, or Batman the Spirit, which wasn't high on your ranking, but you did like the art.
Mm-hmm. But the art for this one it's a little bit different, Larry. You want to tell them how?
Well, the color's different.
The color is different. We all know, or avid listeners know how much I care about color, and that my favorite's either black and white or
black, white, and a color.
Black, white, and one color.
And one single color.
What's the color for the score, Larry?
It's yellow. And I have to say, I thought, I read this earlier tonight, actually, and I was looking forward to this all week, James, because I knew we were going to do the show. I knew we were going to be reading Parker. I had dug out my hard copy of this, and I thought it had yellowed. No, it hadn't. It just looks great old. It looks like he drew this in the 60s.
So the other Parkers are in different colors.
Yeah.
But I think, I went and compared, I think it's like blue and green and red.
Right.
And this yellow is my favorite.
I think it just pops.
I almost wish that I could read Hunter now and like just change the filter on my computer, to like make yellows or like blues yellow instead.
Yeah,
like,
Hunter was done in blue.
Over. Yeah, I bet it would actually transfer over pretty well.
Sure.
I don't know how to do that on a computer or whatever. I mean, it wouldn't take that long to figure out. But that would be cool to read it in a different color.
I'm not disagreeing. This would look cool in red. This would look cool in blue, but yellow really works here.
I really like the yellow. So it's set in Jersey City, 1964. And this is a really cool opening page.
I love this opening page, but we have to give it a little bit of a setup because we've met our main character before, and Parker in the original.
I don't know if we should say that though, because I think this novel it stands alone.
This one stands alone, but our main character.
Introduce him as he gets introduced.
Okay, all right, I like that.
I mean, I guess we know his name's Parker, but even that I didn't really figure out at the first one that I read. I'm like, wait, is he Parker? Is his name Hunter? Is his name, But because we start out with, and I love this. The first 6 pages, there's no dialogue.
No dialogue, but you got to keep an eye on this. This.
And our main character, or we have 2 characters. One of them we can't see his face; it's in a shadow the whole time.
Yeah.
So we talked that it's in black and white and color, but it's in would you call it kind of a pretty sketchy, not loose, but not.
It's I would call this an illustrated line, like you are looking at a soap ad not even a soap ad, like an old magazine. You've found an old magazine in the attic, and this is what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like the yellowing definitely adds to that, but even just like the level, most of the detail is like a checkered shirt, or like the amount of wrinkles in a curtain is something you can look at and be like, okay, to compare artists and be like, this person is trying to put as much detail as they can. Darwyn Cooke it's almost impressionist in some points.
Yeah, he's almost.
The shadows aren't even really connected sometimes, but it's of the style that makes it better.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at the checkered shirt guy, and the shadow above his head is just a shadow. It's not even but it's got a hard edge to it. He sees his man walking out of this hotel lobby, and he knows that's the gig.
And the shadow, we should be able to see, it does a good job of making this guy in this trench coat with this hat disguised. We can't see who he is at all, even though we kind of see an outline of him. And that makes it fun.
It does.
So with this first couple pages, we have this kind of, I would have thought he was maybe a little boyish, but he has a little age to his face, maybe.
The checkered shirt guy? Yeah.
Checkered shirt guy. And he's tailing this guy in this overcoat. And it looks like the guy in the overcoat is looking at a map.
Pretending to be lost. Someplace. Whatever. Yeah, he's lost. He's walking around. Yeah.
And so it's is he the mark? Was he hired to get tailed? Why is this guy following him? I love that there's no words for these first, that almost in itself was okay, if you have the confidence to let the art speak for itself, then you're my kind of comic book.
Right. So yeah, we're already up to page 13, and we haven't spoken a word yet. Well, I guess the
elevator guy.
The elevator guy said, "What floor?"
Yeah. Which I don't know. Yeah. I think, and then on page. So there's this cool little dance of him tailing the guy, losing him, doubling back, and he's facing the guy in the trench coat's now walking towards